Hey friends, David Nuno here, TexAgs Rewind presented by Yeti. So I have to apologize at the end of the radio show. Nick, you caught my mistake?
No, I did not. What was it?
That's going to do it for TexAgs Radio on a Tuesday. It's Wednesday.
Oof. That's all right.
This
week's kind of baffled for me too.
Why do you think? Why?
It just happens. It happens sometimes, you know?
So I don't know what my favorite part of the show was. I assume for you, talking Troy Wansing maybe?
No, got to be Dari Nowkhah.
Oh.
It was good to have him on the show all the way from Hoover. So probably that. Or, little secret, we recorded Tori Vidalis' interview yesterday, but we aired it today. That was good as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And Olin Buchanan, believe it or not, we were able to get him on the show. He was really good. And Ryan Brauninger on Recruiting Country not only talked about recruiting, which is what you're supposed to do on Recruiting Country, we talked a little Aggie baseball. So it was a lot of baseball today because we're very encouraged from what we saw from the team yesterday. And hopefully tomorrow when we do the rewind, we're talking about that again. Check it out. We all have been saying it for weeks. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of see? I'm going to, not towards you, just towards the world. This is Captain Obvious here. But I felt like we were trending in a good starting pitching performance just because of the last weekend. You can't read into one weekend to the next, but I felt good. And I said, look, guys, we get some pretty good starting pitch. We got better than just pretty good starting pitching. We got freaking wonderful. I spit everywhere when I said that.
It was.
It was freaking wonderful.
Yeah, it was. It was the best pitching performance we've seen for Texas A&M all year.
Since maybe the College World Series, my friend.
Yeah, it was spectacular. There's no way around it. When he did have the few hard hit balls, guys made great plays on, or they were either right at somebody or guys made great plays on. But man, you go 8 innings against that team, Tennessee, that can hit the ball and give up one hit, spectacular.
Drinking the Kool-Aid at the moment because why not? If I can't drink it today, when am I going to drink it? This is like how I'm hoping things can play out. All right, I don't know if they're going to win the SEC baseball tournament, if they're going to lose against I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this. You get starting pitching. Of course, if you get starting pitching like you got yesterday. But let's just say you get pretty good the rest of the way, like what we've seen the last 4 games. Buddy, this team has played in the SEC. Okay, let's go to freaking Austin. Let's go. Because Texas did not take on this pitching staff the way they've been performing, again, for a week.
Well, I said yesterday, I'm not afraid of those Longhorns. And if they send you to Austin, fine. Go over there with the intent to beat them.
Yep.
But I'm also not going to start counting my money after one win. Because we've seen it before. Just for the Alabama series.
All right, let's turn our attention to football. So A&M is changing some things. They needed to after going 5-7. What do you think about some of these changes out there? Bobby Petrino is now the offensive coordinator. Connor Wegman or Max Johnson, hopefully both healthy to go. I think Connor's probably got the inside edge, but there's still a quarterback battle. Just your thoughts on A&M here entering 2023?
Yeah, I think there's obviously, we can talk about pressure on Jimbo and all that, but with the money he's owed, who knows how much of that's the case. I do think that it was interesting, though, going out, getting Bobby Petrino to run the offense. Those are, the biggest conversation there. Those are 2 really, really strong personalities. I'm curious to see how that plays out in the fall. I'm curious to see how that plays out over the course of the season. If Jimbo is in some way still intertwined with the offense, if he leaves it all to Bobby, I don't. That's one of the great storylines. They've got a long way to go from last year's lack of offensive productivity. Hopefully, Connor Wegman's the play that he had last year and his ability to get some time helps him this year. It's still with LSU kind of seeming to have passed A&M and Alabama there. I think Auburn's going to be surprisingly good, honestly, in year 1 with Hugh Freeze and Lane Kiffin, what he can do at Ole Miss. It's a tough division to quickly flip your way from the bottom to the top end. But certainly, there's no question there's massive amounts of talent in College Station, so they have that to work with.
Talking to Dari Nowkhah here on TexAgs Radio. Do you put Bama – I know it's kind of weird to say it like this, but do you put Bama in the same breath as Georgia this year with, the turnover on both rosters, but Bama, as good as they are, probably, a 10, 11-win team, there are a lot of question marks there.
There's a lot of questions. I don't honestly put them there. Georgia certainly sustained a lot of turnover. They sustained a lot of turnover last year as well. Went on to win a second straight championship. when you've got obviously Kirby as your head coach and Muschamp running your defense along with Minshew, and that defense is going to be really, really good.
I'll just say this: the Major League Baseball draft is going to weigh heavily on his decision, but I think the football offer obviously was a big deal for him and his family. When he tweeted the offer out, it was a picture of his dad, and there was a ton of responses to it. Obviously, Terrence, his father was a sensational player here. Really unfortunate kind of how all that ended in the NFL, and then it's unfortunate for Terrence because he didn't have his father growing up, and so he's obviously got a lot of that athletic ability and those athletic talents. But he grew up in Atlanta, and he's turned into just one of the better athletes in the entire state, and has a real future to contemplate in football and in baseball. He is getting even though he's only a junior, he's getting a lot of draft helium, a lot of draft heat, a year ahead of his draft eligible year. So that's something that not only Jim Schlossnagle and Nolan Cain are going to have to navigate, but now potentially even Jimbo Fisher, Damian Craig, those guys on the offensive side of the ball, because he's listed as an athlete. I think he would probably start on the offensive side at receiver, but he does have some film as a secondary member too. I think it'll probably be offense if he comes to A&M. They'll start him at receiver, but really super talented, can play on either side of the ball. Like I said, for all the information about my conversation with him and what his plans are going forward, subscribe to TexAgs.
And I'm just curious, how does that work, the relationship between football and baseball? I know with Connor it was one way because he was quarterback first, but if you are a baseball player first, how does that work?
Well, the scholarship has to go to football unless he can come here on a baseball scholarship and then after 2 years go play football. And that's the way the NCAA did the workaround, because if you'll remember back in the 90s when Nebraska had it rolling, they were handing out scholarships to every other sport for kids to come play football.
Just talk about the leaps and bounds that they made in this first year of Trisha Ford.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You think like what Ford was able to do her first year. You hire a first-year head coach, you expect them to kind of rebuild and really start to like build something. And she came in and immediately made an impact. I mean, you see A&M finish, I think, one of the better outings that they've had in a couple of years. So I think they've done an incredible job for the first year, just making, like you said, leaps and bounds. And not only just on the physical side, but even, being around them, getting to cover A&M softball quite often in the early part of the season. Just, I can see such a difference in the way that they carry themselves and the way that they're holding their confidence. They're more assertive with one another. They're holding each other accountable. So I'm just loving the way the direction that this program is going in, and I'm really excited to see what next year brings.
Where do you want to see them improve? Where do they need to take their game next season?
I think I would like to see some consistency throughout the year. I mean, I saw, them play against Tennessee. They had a one hitter. It was like 1-0 Tennessee, and that was the number 3 team in the country at the time. So I've seen flashes of greatness, and then, you go towards the end of the season and you get swept by South Carolina, a team that you're supposed to beat on paper, which we know anything can happen in this game, but that's a series that you want to walk into and know that you're going to get 2 out of 3 in the bag. So for me, just that consistency throughout the year, like not getting too high, not getting too low. And obviously you want to get hot at the right time. But I think as long as I would see like some consistency throughout the beginning of the year and getting a little bit better as you get into SEC play, that would be a dream, but obviously it's harder than it sounds.
Nick, why don't you close this out, and are people dancing behind you?
Just strictly business today, it looks like, behind me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow our Twitter accounts, watch our shorts, TikTok. Kay Negley killing it in the TikTok game. She posted a really good one today. But other than that, see you tomorrow.
Hey, would you ever consider a mullet?
A mullet?
Yeah.
No, sir.
I can see you in a mullet. You seem like a mullet kind of
I
guy.
don't look good with long hair. I promise you. I tried.
All right. You tried the mullet?
Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it.
Can we post it on the internet?
No.
All right. Bye.
Bye.